Grazie, grazie. Thank you so much. It is my first time in Italy, wondering where the slides are, but we can just like get started with a little bit of warm out. Yeah,
Okay.
okay, no worries. We will get the slides party started. So this is a wonderful beginning of the conference, isn't it? I was listening to some Italiano Vero in the morning, ate some pasta yesterday, and now I don't have the slides. So we'll manage without them, absolutely no problem. First question that I have, so we will be working on a case study today, how to bring AI products to market. And first question that I have for you is, who's dealing with AI here? Okay, okay, it's a little bit. So for the majority of the concepts that we will talk about today, they are applicable across products, across services, even in some cases. Whenever there will be something super AI specific, I will surely let you know. And during the presentation, when it starts, I will take you through 4 lessons. So the first one comes from my line of work with the products. And oftentimes, teams ask me which target market should I choose, right? And especially when you have this big product vision, when you can help multiple different segments, there is a problem. With which segment will you start? So in the majority of cases, I see my teams working on personas. And you know how these personas can be, right? So some of them are just like Hans from Germany who drives Volkswagen and likes to drink beer. And that's useless if you are selling accounting software, for example, right? So instead of just like sitting in the room, not talking with the customer and brainstorming who the persona is, I much prefer to empirically reverse engineer data in order to find the right target market. The second lesson that we will cover is in regards to positioning and messaging. So a lot of times in AI, because there is so much hype going on, and remember, it's not the first hype curve we have seen, right? We have been around when IoT started, when blockchain just started. So it's not the first time that we see a hype in our career, but oftentimes when I'm working with product teams, we have just like this discussion, people will not magically buy it just because it's AI. We have to communicate value added, sometimes even 10x value added when we are new to market in order to convince the users. So the third lesson that we will cover today, after we get the slides, of course, is pricing. Pricing and the business model. Remember, in majority of cases, we are building application on top of AI model. And that usage actually costs us money. So when users are happily using our product, we have costs. Therefore, in AI go-to-market, I prefer to test willingness to pay as soon as possible, because pragmatically, you can only lose money for a limited amount of time. Then you need to make some. And last but not least, go-to-market is a very, let's say, ambiguous area, right? So when you are just like thinking how to get users, how to get customers into your products, I see a lot of times when I work, get early adopters, to get first users, things can be super simple. For example, you can just like post in a Facebook group. You can even just like send this email to a couple of colleagues. So when it comes to the question, how to get the first 1,000 users, you don't have to really overthink this, and you can do a lot of things that don't scale before you finally start to scale. Now you can control me if I correctly explain the lessons. Was I good? Okay, super, cool. So now we can dive. Thank you. Super appreciated. So now we can dive into a case study. This case study is very simple to understand. It is a very simple web app which was literally built as with this vision that you have a very large chunk of text, then you copy it to this web app cost post rewriter, and then you get 8 to 10 variation of LinkedIn posts out of it. So 3 steps, super simple, very, very, very simple to understand use case. Now, how this AI was trained? It was trained on 60,000 viral posts from LinkedIn, right? And it was carefully curated by a copywriter. This is the product that we will deal with today, and remember, this was done on zero budget. But listen, I'm not the hero of this story, this guy is. Meet one of my best friends, Tim. Tim is a direct copywriter. He has made millions in email marketing in e-commerce. And because he's such a good writer, everybody kept on asking him, but Tim, come on, why don't you write on LinkedIn? You're so good at writing. And his usual go-to solution whenever he encounters a problem is, let me hook something up in ChatGPT so I will not have to do it. But this whole post rewriter story is not the only thing on Tim's mind right now. So Tim has other ventures as well. He's a consultant. He recently got married. And just like this idea of launching and taking products to market is not the only thing on his plate. But luckily, he has a friend who's literally obsessed with go-to-market. So I was like, listen, Tim, I saw your prototype. I was using your beta. This is really good. Why don't we use like 1 hour every Tuesday and just work on your go-to-market strategy? Luckily, he was up for it, so I can present this case study today. Okay. Now, when it comes to go-to-market, it's many different things to many different people. Can somebody, like the bravest person in the room, can the bravest person in the room just like share us their definition of go-to-market? What are we talking about here to people? What is go-to-market? Okay, what about if I give a book to somebody who will answer the question in the break? Will I get the answer? Okay, then not. So when it comes to go-to-market, it's the process of how we bring products to the market, as the word says. But oftentimes, in practice, it is mistaken for only product launch. Whereas go-to-market, and you know this, as product managers, we need you guys in go-to-market as well, we need to talk about pricing, we need to talk about target selection, we need to talk about messaging and positioning, right? So it's much broader field than just marketing. And we need you guys, product managers, to really step in here because you are the intelligence behind the product. And the second thing that it often gets mistaken for is the channel. So I have a client who said, my go-to-market strategy is LinkedIn. And I was like, cool, okay, what else? So let's agree that go-to-market is broader than marketing. Now we can definitely jump into the lessons. First lessons, empirically prove your ICP. In very blunt words, do not make shit up when it comes to personas. So how we did this with Post Rewriter was very, very, very interesting. As somebody who has spent their career in bootstrapping, I always like to do the validation techniques with higher confidence level. Meaning, if people say that they are going to do something, it doesn't mean that they will. And it definitely does not mean that they will pay you money. So this is why I always gravitate towards higher confidence validation methods. And to get this done in practice, again, was not really difficult because there is so much hype for AI right now. So to get the first 1,000 users, we literally got them by posting about the product, by telling our personal network that we exist, and we posted it in a couple Facebook groups. But 1,000 users, first of all, it's not enough. And if somebody registers, that doesn't mean that I have a product market fit signal, right? They can just like register, hate it, and go away and forget about me. So I needed to reverse engineer active users. And based on initial traction, From 1,000 registrations, we reverse engineered this data of users that were happy with the product. For the target audience, these were 3 groups that validated from this first round of validation. So who loved Post Rewriter and created more than 5 LinkedIn posts with this? First group was Alex. He is a very innovative SaaS founder, and he was using this to promote his software. Second group was me and a couple of other geeks who write Substacks and long format posts and need something really quick in order to repurpose our content to snappy LinkedIn posts. And very surprisingly, the third group of users were copywriters and ghostwriters and even LinkedIn agency. But I always say, if you are very tight on resources, there can be only one. You need to focus further. How did we focus? Well, we made them pay for it. And out of 3 personas, only 1 persona stick with the paywall. So that was a SaaS founder. And for the next 3 to 6 months, this is absolutely the person that we will be obsessed with. This Alex guy is our king now. We are working to attract more Alexes into the product. So after we understood that, the next question, logical question, is what to say to them. How to get more Alexes into the product, right? And remember, people will not magically use it just because it's AI. And here, Tim and I had a little bit of a problem. So Tim is very aggressive in his copywriting, and he's into these bold promises and like really big dreams. And spending my career in tech, whenever I see such headlines, I'm like, really? I know from my personal experience that not every LinkedIn post will go viral. So yeah, we had a little bit of misalignment here. But as a consultant, I have to use some smart frameworks to convince Tim to literally change the headline on his web page. And this is the metrics, the positioning metrics that I used in order to present him a much better way how we can position this product. What you see here in the metrics are competitive alternatives. The black fields, horizontal lines, are competitive alternatives. Meaning, if Alex wants to solve this problem of how to create LinkedIn post, he can just like outsource this as a service. He can hire somebody to get this done. Then he can tweak something up in ChatGPT and train his own model, or he could be using our direct competitors. These were the competitive alternatives. Now the criteria, the vertical lines. What is important to Alex? How is he making these decisions to compare products, competitive alternatives? Well, there are some no-brainers, such as price. Will it work? And will it be difficult to use? But in this specific instance, there are also some more personal needs. So the first one, I don't know if you know that, I didn't know that, but whenever you have a Chrome plugin for LinkedIn, you are violating LinkedIn's terms of services, right? So our product insufficiency of being a web app, not like a Chrome plugin, could actually be used for our advantage because it's safer. And last but not least, you know how us founders are. We like our secret ingredients. We are like our special little gems. So if it is new, if it is something that other people don't have, we are very good at being early adopters. So by scoring how good a certain competitive alternative is in fulfilling one buying criteria, we found a beautiful place to position the product, which was simplicity. Just like it's a no-brainer. It's 1, 2, 3, no hassle, no onboarding. You can just make it happen. So I had the case where to position this product. Now what to say to them? What to say better than turn any post into a viral LinkedIn post? Cool. I was using a framework of UVP and USP here. Unique value proposition is the promise that you make to a customer. Unique selling proposition is why you. Why are you the best? Why are you different than any other competitive alternative that they could be using? And hey guys, I'm not a copywriter, so Tim has to transform this into a very snappy language, but I do think that we found a very, very, very much better text than just like turn any product, any post into a LinkedIn viral post. Cool. After we knew what to say, it was time to make some money. So AI comes with real costs, and therefore we should be testing willingness to pay as soon as possible. Coming from the previous positioning framework, we divided all the possible competitive alternatives into a spectrum. So Alex would pay 0 if he would do it himself, or just like premium access to the AI tool. On the other side of the spectrum, there were very expensive solutions, such as hiring like a super pro ninja LinkedIn copywriter. So there was a broad spectrum. We had to narrow it down. And we narrow it down between direct competitor, so a tool which is much more advanced and has additional features, and if he would just be using premium access of generic AI access tools. So this was just like the wiggle room that we projected, around $20 per month. Now, I needed to do another sanity check. Am I even okay with paying $20 per month for this? Am I creating enough value added? And I was doing some mental math with a couple of assumptions. The assumptions were, Alex makes like $150 per hour. If he does 4 LinkedIn posts and spends 30 minutes creating 1 LinkedIn post, there is a like monthly sum that we could be saving to him in terms of opportunity costs. So if we manage to reduce this time that he spends on LinkedIn posts per 50%, and if we can capture 20 to 30% of added value, our product one day could cost more than $100 per month. But realistically, we are totally not there yet, so I just needed a sanity check if I can really charge that much for the product. And the next question was how to really structure this. What packages should I be creating, right? And whenever I don't know what to do in my life, I create a mood board for my apartment, for what to wear, and for pricing pages as well. So we researched a couple of competitors and a couple of very good practices, and we managed to understand that the majority of them have 2 to 4 packages, 2 to 4 options. Then the second one was that everybody, especially now in Q4, is aggressively pushing yearly subscriptions with up to 50% of discount. And then, very interesting for AI products, so usage has actual costs. And usually companies communicate usage credits. But me as a user, I don't bloody know what 500 credits are. I don't imagine what can I do with this, right? If you give me 500 credits, I mean, my question is how many emails should I send? How many data do I get out of your products? So we decided that we will talk human language when it comes to usage metrics. And this was our first attempt to do the pricing page here. Now this, what is crossed, will be united in one package, but we started with a free version, then with just like this very mediumly priced entry package. And the last one is super interesting. We were also testing in some of the agencies, or some of these persona number 3, if you remember from before, will opt in for a more expensive package. Now, your work in pricing is never really done. As your product is getting better, you have an opportunity to capture more added value with pricing. So it was just version 1, not great, not terrible, but enough to get us started. Cool. Now, finally, we could invite more users into the product. And my first rule of thumb here is always go where the audience is. Follow their journey, follow their path, be there. In my book, I defined 7 go-to-market motions. I won't bore you with definition of everything. I will just briefly explain the logic, how Tim and I made these decisions of what we will be using for post rewriter. Inbound. Should we post about our product? Yes. Our answer was yes, we will definitely do this, it's for free. Second, outbound. If we knew that Alex is our target audience, should we find more Alexes by DMing them on LinkedIn or sending them emails? Yes. Our answer was also yes. We should definitely let people know that we exist. Now, for the third one, paid digital, should we be using budget for this? We decided not to go for it because we felt rather confident that we will do it with zero budget. But I have teams that have gotten up to like 1,000 users with budgets as low as $200, like worldwide budgets. So I'm not saying that it is impossible. You can do it, it's just we didn't select it in these specific reasons. Now, the community. Whenever you have like a marketing product or development product, you know how we are. We like to exchange our ideas and find our tools in communities, right? So yes, that was another one which was kind of a no-brainer for us. We definitely wanted to be in a community. Partners. Then we had to be realistic again. If I just went to 20tap and said them, hi, would you like to be official partner of Post Rewriter? They would ask me, how many users do you have? How many clients? And I would be like, So we're not there yet. We're totally not there yet because it's a pre-product market fit product and we don't have the traction that would be convincing to partners. The same thing applies to account-based marketing and sales. And remember, this product is the dirt cheap. So I cannot really assign somebody to create a 150 touch point plan how to convince a decision maker that they will use Post Rewriter. It's a simple product-led growth plan. So this is something that I don't have the budget for, and the purchase could be quite impulsive. So that was a no. And product-led growth was our dream, but we're totally not yet there yet. So whenever you have a product-led growth, you need to think about the very special thing which is called growth loops. Anybody heard about growth loops before? Super. Super. We can spend a little bit of time in the Q&A discussing like 5 types of growth loops, but by very simple definition. A user does something that attracts other users into the product. And you remember some of them from your user life, right? How did you learn about Figma, Calendly? These are just like the tools that you discover by either other people using or sharing it. And Tim and I, of course, wanted to have our own growth loop. So we were thinking like this. Our users right now get the text for LinkedIn posts. Well, the majority of them would probably also like to have an image, a picture to share with, right? So we were like, for the pre-package, we could just like create this branded, Post Rewriter branded image that they can share, and hopefully it will bring us more users. Well, we tried some prototypes. Unfortunately, it did not work, but that doesn't mean that we will give up, because growth loop is literally an engineer word of mouth. And you know how you are discovering products. Usually when you don't know what to do, you ask colleagues, you ask your trusted contacts, right? So this one is worth tackling further, but we haven't really nailed it yet. So now it was time to compare our plan against the reality. And everything looked good with addition of paid customers. So people did not use the product that much as we projected. And just like the free package was too generous, it included too many posts, so users didn't even have the chance to convert further. That was a mistake on a pricing page that we will try to correct. And right now it's Black Friday season, so we can push some yearly packages as well. We are excited that we are going to get there soon with this part-time project, but nevertheless, at least like to get 1,000 people to the product and 100 active users more so was not a problem whatsoever. So let's recap 4 lessons that we talked about today for you, so you will surely remember. And now you can take a picture of the slide even, now that we have it. Very nice. First, do not make things up when it comes to persona. Please generate evidence. Empirically prove your ICP. Second, when it comes to positioning and messaging, you need to communicate added value for the user and use case. People will not magically buy it just because it's AI something. Third, when we are testing willingness to pay in AI, we like to do this as soon as possible because otherwise free users will cost us a lot in terms of the usage of the model. So we really have to bring the mechanisms for monetization as soon as possible. And fourth, when it comes to go-to-market motions, repeatable and scalable ways how to attract customers into the product, I like to prioritize free or inexpensive growth motions with the beginning because I do think that this is a good signal of product market fit. I can always bribe somebody to use a product, but I was thinking for genuine love, for some genuine passion for the product, which usually happens in organic and in communities. So that was it. That was my journey. If you wanted to take this type of models for a spin yourself, I invite you to try go-to-market Power Hour template that I invented. It was used by more than 1,000 companies so far. You list the initial assumptions of your go-to-market strategy. So the target audience, positioning, UVPs, then you have like these growth motions that we talked about today. So it's a very, very, very cool framework that will get you started. And I have no idea what time management is right now. Hope that we are not being late, but I am eager to take some questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all the information shared with us. And we have received many questions. We have time. Okay.
Super. How long were we, by the way? I lost track.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's fine, come on over. I was just, how much time do we have for questions?
Ah, okay, yes.
Cool.
We have, yes, because the hand of the 30.
Super,
So,
super.
Ok. Ok, e ricordo solo una cosa al pubblico, perché nel QR code che avete nel vostro badge avete la possibilità di cliccare sullo speaker e fare le domande live, così io dopo le leggo. Allora, what key factors should companies consider when deciding if AI should be central to their value or just a unique feature?
So how do you make a decision if you would be like AI first or if this will be maybe also for pricing?
Should be central to their value proposition or just a unique feature.
Okay, got it. So it's a very similar question to the pricing packages. Will you charge extra for AI or will you like literally put it in an existing package as an improvement? If you recall Zoom, for example, if you go on their pricing page right now, there is like this simple package and the rest of the packages have AI. And they didn't do a price increase later on. So in this specific use case, it was just enhanced existing package, right? How do you make this decision as a product manager? You can probably tell me much better than I can tell to you, but I would always just like think about main value added to the user. So is AI unlocking new functionalities? Is the product overall delivering more value added that a customer appreciates, or it is just like a productivity tweak? And we have seen both types of implementations for pricing. So some people just raised the prices or introduced other packages because of AI capacities. I was just working with Miro today, and they are inventing like new packages for AI. But for example, with what's the analytical software? Is it Hedgehog? No. Well, there is an analytical software that literally reduced their price because they got so many efficiencies from introducing more automation and AI. So it's a decision that you cannot make in the isolation of your target audience. What I would be searching for as a decision maker in my line of products was if people would be shut up and take my money at me. If I would see in early validation that they are delighted, that they are just like their eyes are wide open and they are loving the thing, then I would think that I have an possibility to go AI first and introduce new packages. So yeah, that's a very complicated answer to a simple question.
Exactly. Okay, other one. Do you think this strategy could be applied to no AI products?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is how I do it all the time in my business. So remember, I like to think about this in stages, right? And the first stage would be to just like get 100 active users, even before even maybe 200 people in your beta or 300, whatever the number is. But I would be tackling each stage separately. So does my product work? Proof of works. I mean, this is literally it. Then, like, am I good in marketing? Am I good in attracting users to our products? Can I get the users it? Second, will they go and literally stick with the product? Can I activate them? Will they create the habits and continue to use this product? And monetization can come after you like retain them, right? After they experience the value. So will I be able to create a sustainable business model out of this? And the go-to-market strategy changes. As you saw in this presentation, beginnings can be very scrappy. It is literally sometimes you texting a couple of colleagues, posting some things on social media, onto Facebook groups. But when we get bigger and stronger, and if we have strong customer bases already, we have to be more sophisticated. So the systematization, the SOPs will happen sooner. But yes, absolutely, I do it for all my launches with a similar type of logic. And also this power hour that we are seeing here, it is tested with companies with tens of thousands of customers. So it's not just like for my hobby projects in the afternoon.
Thank you. Other one, which research methods did you use?
Super. For this one, we were just like inviting people to beta. Beta was closed. So beta was closed to 50 users, and we were very, very, very in active touch with them to generate the feedback. So it was more of like beta/alpha, but you know what I mean. They were reporting bugs to us all the time. So the second stage was when we decided that the product is good enough to go to public, right? And this is what we called a marketing test. So we were just like, hi, we're building this AI. If you want to take it for a spin, here is a link. Let us know what you think and recommend it to other folks if you like it. So that was the first type of test. And very importantly, because this was a project done on a shoestring budget. It was literally zero budget. We had to prove the monetization as soon as possible. Whereas we didn't do pre-sales, we just hit the sales wall immediately, so the paywall immediately. That was very, very, very important for us to validate because we were financing this out of our own pockets, right? And again, you can only lose money for the very short time. In addition to that, we did interviews, but not very structurally. Like, it was not me in front of the script, what else do you use in order to solve this problem? But it was just like, yeah, LinkedIn, I mean, yes, this is very difficult. So what's your problem? Why are you not posting on LinkedIn? What's wrong here? So it was more like informal. But yes, these were the validation methods that we were using.
Okay, perfect. How can I involve or create a community in the creation of the growth loop?
How can I create a community? So I'm not sure that I'm getting this one. So how can I create a growth loop?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Super. A growth loop should always be embedded into a natural customer journey and centered on the wow moment that a user has. So when would a user naturally recommend something? Where is their happy moment? Usually after they experience the value of the product and feel really good about this. How would you measure this? How would you find out this? Either with user interviews, usability tests, or if you are tracking some sort of NPS or other satisfaction metrics for your products, right? So that would be the place where to put the growth loop. Then what else do you see? I like to interview people who are already recommending the product. So if I see on support or just like know that somebody has recommended, I would like to learn more. So why did you decide that you recommend it? What did you say to this person? I'm very interested in how they sold this. This is like literally my homework done. And to what person did you literally recommend this? So when it comes to growth loop, it's can usually work best post-product market fit. Because right now, as I was testing it pre-product market fit, it was not working. It was just my wacko assumption that people would like to get images. But whenever you have a product which is literally visual and displays something very beautifully, consider that you would at least make it shareable on social media. So that's the easiest thing that you can do. If you are generating like a sort of report or something like that, you can brand this and you can invite people to share it further with their colleagues. So think, where would this sharing moment happen naturally first, and what would make my user look cool because he does the action?
Okay. How about the customer retention rate of the service you presented?
Sorry,
How about the customer retention rate of service you presented?
Okay, so the retention rates, I was not very worried about this. I was laserly focused on activation rates first, because I wanted to measure at least like 10% of activation rate, and that means in our case that we wanted to have users creating at least one post per week on LinkedIn. We were harboring the natural habit. So if person doesn't even have the habit to post on LinkedIn, we cannot force them to use a tool that would make them post on LinkedIn, right? So there was the first barrier. Normally, I would be aiming for 20% activation rates for free products, or even 30% activation rates. But in this case, we were okay with 10% activation rate because some of the users that got into the product didn't even have the habit of posting on LinkedIn. Then for retention rates, we were again observing the natural cycle. And for the majority of folks that are active on LinkedIn, who actually qualified as a potential user, they post 1 to 3 times a week. So weekly retention was a unit that we observed our usage in. This is how we structured our thinking about the customer journey. Then for the benchmark, I mean, I'm not really so hyped on retention curves. I am more like into conversion rates and optimizations for these bootstrap projects, because like if a user just uses it and doesn't pay for it, this user is a cost to us, right? So in order to build a sustainable business model, I am interested in how many paying customers do I have, because otherwise I might be losing money if I'm bringing more people into the product.
Okay, thank you. We have a lot of questions
Cool.
with you. Is it worth releasing free AI features and paid AI features in the same product?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, we were talking about this first question. So how do you decide if they will pay extra for it or if it will be part of a new package?
Okay, what's the strategy you recommend to launch a paid plan for an exciting free product? Currently focus on lead acquisition.
Okay, got it. So I was just like consulting to this type of customer maybe like a week ago or something like that. So they are an established agency for conversion rate optimization, and they invented their own tool. So they were literally transforming the product from their service businesses, and now they made like a gallery of CRO experiments. So what can you do to increase the conversion rate? And it was the first free product that they have ever launched. So their usual fees are around like 30K per month, but this was the first free product. And it was super interesting to observe this type of problem from reverse. So they knew how to charge big bucks to clients, but they didn't know how to position a free product. So what we can learn from reverse engineering this case is all about the added value that it creates, right? So for the free products, you need to consider that you still need to give them added value to unlock virality, recommendation, and to create a good touch point with the user. Then you should be thinking like, what is the normal value? What is like this measure of value that would keep them satisfied? But if you remember this pricing mistake that we did with Post Rewriter, am I giving away too much for free? And I think that that happened to Miro as well, that the free version of the product was just so good for the individual users that we literally had no reason to pay during COVID times, or we did those fake accounts with +1 emails that we all hate, right? So it was easy to first tweak the project, and then the next thing, when it comes to launching paid features, you really have to anchor it that the product will change. So if you just say, hi, okay, now you're using this for free, then in November you will start paying me, people would be like, what? I mean, who wants this? It's just like, no. So you have to tie it with some sort of new exciting release or with another launch in order to create this awareness that this is a better product now. Yes, I was using it for free, but now it's better product. I unlock additional value, so this is worth paying for me now. It's all about the perception of fairness in value exchange. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.